Hello, and thanks for joining this presentation on creating a family best memories legacy collection using a product called Collectionaire. I'm Stan Kinsey, founder of Collectionaire, and today I'll show you what you can do with your photos, home movies, and mementos so that your best memories are never lost or forgotten and can easily be shared with and navigated by anyone as a full collection. As an important introduction, Collectionaire is an online web app, not greatly unlike using Ancestry.com or Family Search, except that it's focused far more on your immediate family than tracing your genealogy. So the type of collection we're addressing here is a digital collection, as opposed to physically organizing print photos and other keepsakes. But this app may make that task easier as well. You can get started right away with photos, videos, and documents that are already digital. But in time, you'll need to scan print photos and any documents and convert any home movies that you wish to add to your collection. Other presentations in this series will help you do that, and we have several blogs and a help and support section discussing this on our Collectionaire website. Once your media is digital, you can enjoy and share your memories, and this is where we come in. 20 or more years ago, people did this via 8mm film and videotapes for home movies, and physical prints, photo albums, framed photos, and slides for the photographs. Then with the advent of digital photos, they could create printed photo books, digital slideshows, e-picture frames, and other ways of enjoying their photo memories. And people started putting their home movies on DVD. Then came perhaps the greatest change since the advent of digital photography, and that is cloud photo sites like iCloud Photos, Google Photos, Flickr, and SmugMug, and video-centric cloud sites like YouTube and Vimeo, and all-purpose sites like Dropbox, OneDrive, Google Drive, and Amazon Drive. Together, these have brought us a new way to store, organize, view, and share our media. And while we still love photo albums, photo books, and framed photos, with cloud storage, we can now view and share our photos and videos anywhere in the world on any connected platform, just like Netflix. So this was the focus of our vision and product, to use the power of the cloud to create a family collection app better than anything possible before. And our solution is a simple, first-of-its-kind product that was not even possible just a few years ago. But first, stepping back for a moment is a bit of background. Our family photo situation years ago was likely just like many of yours. This was a simpler time when our photo collection was somewhat under control, as our keepsake photos were in photo albums, and our home movies were mostly on VHS and digital tapes. Then came digital photos, and about 20 years ago we started adding more photos, lots of them. So now we had two collections, the physical prints and movies, and these new digital files. What put us over the top is when digital photography came to the mobile phone. With these additions, we now worried that our most cherished family photos, stories, videos, and mementos would be lost or forgotten in the thousands and thousands of photos and videos we now owned. I had been an entrepreneur and retired a few years ago, and was looking forward to organizing our photos and home movies, as our kids were now grown, living all over the country, and had no idea that so many of our great memories had been recorded in photos and videos. So I wanted to create some type of best of us collection in a cloud site that I could share with them and they could easily navigate. I had some specific ideas of what I wanted to share. The most important media I wanted them to have were all of our best family times together, our vacations, holidays, day-to-day home movies, etc. But they also each had their own passions when younger. One daughter played piano, another daughter did Scottish Highland dance, and our son played tons of sports. I wanted them to have the best of the photos and videos we had of these and other events and mementos. We also had just recently lost my wife's mother, and she was an amazing woman. I wanted a way to create a kind of rich profile of her life so that the grandkids we didn't even have yet would know more about her. And we had photos, journals, letters, and mementos of other lost relatives, and I wanted a way to associate these with those people and tell their story. One such person was my wife's grandfather, who, when at Cal Berkeley in the mid-20s, was the fastest sprinter in the U.S., and he later served as a doctor in World War II on a ship that was blown up. His box with all his stories and photos was in the attic, and we're lucky we hadn't lost it. Finally, some of my relatives had written histories of some of the family lines, and I wanted to, again, find a way that kids and others could easily find these and that they'd never be lost. So as I looked at what we had, it was no longer just my small family, and it was growing. So I made sure my photos and videos were digital and organized by date and in folders. Then I uploaded to try out several cloud photo sites. I started with photos and documents only and uploaded a lot of what we had to each site. Most of the cloud sites are designed to be used with search via keywords, facial recognition, geotagging, etc. And this helped as I went about curating our photos. All of the sites allowed me to select photos to create what they called an album or a gallery. Here, we're creating an album of a family trip to Yellowstone Park. This album was then listed in the Albums section of Google Photos and the other cloud sites. I created dozens of these albums. Here's that same album, but created in the cloud site Forever. So while my photos were now getting set, I shifted to other media. Most photo sites did not allow everything that I had, such as long-form home movies, PDFs, audio files, and other file types. Some that did allow video required them to be no longer than 20 minutes, or at a lower resolution, and some charged extra every month to stream the movies. Meanwhile, I found that some video-focused cloud sites offered special features, like allowing us to start a home movie at a specific point which made them preferred over the others. So in theory, we'd now gone as far as we could with these photo and video sites, and here was our collection. But it still didn't achieve my goals, especially the goal of allowing someone else to easily view it and find our memories. Albums in Google and MemoryWeb could be sorted alphabetically, but that wasn't really very elegant or clear for the viewer. In Forever and SmugMug, albums and galleries were nested, so viewers would need to keep drilling down to really know what was in there. And iCloud's shared albums were simply listed in the order you created them. In all cases, I might know what's in there and how to find it, but our kids and relatives would have no clue and thus would have to spend a lot of time and miss things that we thought were important. Then a solution started coming together and was actually very simple. We could create a collection page for every person that included an index or type of table of contents to their life and memories. And since the family's home movies, vacation, and holiday memories didn't belong to just one person but to the family, we'd also create a page for each family. The key breakthrough that allowed this was that we found there is one common element of almost every cloud site that allows the owner of the content to share a photo or album with viewers. That element is a special type of URL called a share link. That share link allows viewers to see that specific item, whether it's a single photo, an album of photos, or a video, but nothing else in that cloud collection. So using the share link, we could quickly and easily add an album, such as this Yellowstone album in Forever, to a collection page. And we designed the primary section of the page to first allow chapters. Here we see the start of Jim and Loretta's family collection page, including chapters Jim and Loretta, Best of Family, Vacations with the Kids and Grandkids, etc. One can add as many chapters as they wish. Within each chapter then are links to the albums and galleries that we just created in the other photo and video cloud sites. We made it so that users can also add a title and a description. It even logs where the album is stored. If the description is long, clicking anywhere in the text brings up the full summary. Once added to a collection page, clicking the preview image opens a new tab in your browser and opens the album in the site where it is hosted. So here's our Yellowstone trip album as seen in Forever. With this simple system, we could create an index of memories for each person and each family. That brought us to the next question. With not just one person but many, and also many families, we needed a way to get to each collection page, and the obvious solution was a family tree. A bit like the genealogy programs Ancestry.com and Family Search, but such that each person in each family had their own best memories collection. Clicking on a person would bring up their collection page. And clicking the circle linking a couple would bring up the family collection page. So now we simply went through and assigned the albums we created in the cloud sites to the family tree, either to a person or a family. There are many other features that we don't have time to show you, but here are a few. For example, the number below each person indicates the number of media items in their collection page. And you can designate someone as having a story of great interest, so viewers don't miss it. Doing so changes their circle color to yellow. Here is that grandfather sprinter who had the great stories we spoke of. And if you have multi-generational history of a family line, you can add a flag that links you to stories about that family. Clicking that flag brings up a special collection page where you can add stories, photos, links to journals, etc. The basic concept behind all of this, of course, is that you now have a place for virtually anything about the family that you wish to maintain. Now I'd like to give you about a 5-minute tour of the site. When you first sign into Collectionaire, you'll see a cover photo that you select. Clicking on the cover photo takes you to your family tree. Here you see my tree, and we're looking at my side of the family. Our children, my parents. If I want to see my wife's side of the tree, I simply click on this triangle, which takes me to her tree view. Here I'll show you how to add an album to a collection. Let's take my wife's late father, James, and I have here his collection as we have it today, and we're still building this collection, his Navy years, even linking to videos on YouTube that we don't even own of the plane he flew in the Korean War. But if I go up here, what I want to try to do is add an album that we have of his young photos when he was in California growing up. So we're going to first go over to Flickr where I have that album. Here you can see I have a number of albums, dozens of them, and here's this album mixed in with everything else. And this arrow means I can from here get this share link. I'm going to copy that link, and that's all I need to do from Flickr. Now I go to the other tab with Collectionaire open. Let's add a new chapter. And there's a drop-down menu under chapters. I can choose his life and add that as the name of the chapter. It adds it as the latest chapter, but I'm going to slide it up to the top of the page and make it the first chapter. Now we're going to add that album from Flickr. I'll just call it Young Jimmy and photos from Porterville, California in the 1930s. Now here is the key where we paste in that link, that share link that we got from Flickr. Now it's not the URL, it's a specific share link so that anyone seeing this album can only see that album. They can't see the rest of our Flickr account. And in many cases, I can click this button and generate a preview image of that album. Here it is. Let's go up here, square it up, save it. And now we're going to save the album. And there it is. So if we simply click on this album in Collectionaire, it takes us, opens a tab to Flickr, and here are the photos of young Jim Barber in the 1930s. So that's the essential ease of adding any album to a person's collection. If we go back to the tree, I'll show you a little bit of the family collection, which is the core. If I look at our own family collection, I'm just going to collapse chapters here so you get an idea of what one can add. Now maybe we're over the top adding a little too much, but here is our wedding. Here are trips that the two of us have taken together that were special. Pictures of the family through the years, our beloved dog that we lost a few years ago. Here are the family vacations. And down here, the last many chapters that I have are our home movies, which is quite helpful because normally it's very difficult to put a title and description to a home movie to know what's in there. Here, for example, home movies from 1997 and 98. We could click on any of these and see photos of the family at that time. We also have entered for each film a summary of the elements of that film. And this is all searchable. So that, first of all, if we click on that movie, it opens a new tab and takes us straight to that site. In this case, it's a movie stored in Google Drive, and you can see here the beginning of that home movie. So that was a children's concert back in their primary school. And if I wanted to look at videos that were taken at Evans, I could actually even go up here to the top and do a search and type in Evans, which was the name of the school that they went to, and any album that has the word Evans in its title or description will be listed. As you can see, we have a lot of them. That search can be the name of a person. It could be daughter Claire. And again, any album of photos, videos, memories, or anything where her name is listed in the title or the description will be listed here. So another great thing about search is that we can also search for the list of all people in our collection. If I click on that, you can see it's alphabetical, showing couples in red and individuals in blue. So if I get to a person, here's the Bryant family. We have that Bryant family history. As a matter of fact, the Bryant family history is listed in green. So that would be a history, a multi-generational history of the family. So as we go through this, Miguel Garcia, the great-grandfather of my wife, I can go to his tree location, and here he is. If we want to go back to our home base on the tree, we simply click the home button, and here we are. Now one other thing, let's quickly go to Loretta, whom we mentioned previously in the presentation, and her collection, to show how we can even present a scrapbook. Here we have her painting she did. She was a seamstress, her quilts, where she grew up in Monterey. And if we look here, here's a scrapbook on the family that one of our kids did in middle school. And you can see that we've created it, photographing each page and turning it into a PDF. And then there are sites that we can link to which will show this scrapbook as a flip book, which is actually a beautiful way to see the presentation. Here I can even double tap to zoom in on the page. So any scrapbook can be presented on our site in this manner, which is quite fun. Well, that concludes our presentation for today. Thanks for taking time out of your day to join us, and I hope you've found it of interest. If you go to our homepage, collectionaire.com, you can check out a wide range of help topics. So grab a cup of coffee and sit for a half hour, watch the first 6 help videos there, and you'll learn more about how to create your collection. That link can be found right on the homepage when you go there. At the top of the page, you'll see a link to create your free account, and I hope you'll do that. Building out your tree as large as you like and adding up to 20 linked albums is free. After that, up to 300 linked albums is only $2.99 a month. And with this presentation, you'll see here a coupon for our Save Your Photos Month event, SYPM 2020. Enter that into a purchase of your collection. You'll get half off for the first 2 years. That coupon is good until September 30th. Okay, thank you again, and I hope you enjoy the other presentations from the photo managers, and I thank them for inviting me to present.